Come on, humans, while we're still young.
If he tells us to hurry one more time, I'm gonna turn him into a big, fluffy hat.
Hurry up! Come on!
Hey, guys, I appreciate the situation we're in, but maybe we could go back to the wardrobe and, get a gun or something?
Behind you! It's her!
Run!
Run!
I hope you've all been good, 'cause there's someone here to see ya.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Certainly is, Lucy.
Dick! You could have at least shouted ho 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 or something. Welcome to Monster Menagerie, brought to you by the Paladin Archives. I am your humble host, Mason Cren. Mason is my title, Cren is my name. Well, this is it. We are at the finale of 2025, our final witch. And as winter sets in, at least here in the northern hemisphere, it seems only right the Witch of Eternal Winter takes center stage to finish our year of witches. Yes, a single gas lamp waits for you, and it leads directly to November's witch, the White Witch, Jadis. Now, this month, more than any other, I need to stress once more that here at Monster Menagerie, we're all about breaking down the observable. We pick a subject. We only take what the source material provides us, what the selected interpretation tells us. When we started this back with Dracula in Season 1, we looked at only the 1931 movie with Bela Lugosi, not the novel and not any of the myriad of other Draculas to exist since or even before. Just what we see in that one singular movie. So too with the White Witch. I know there is a whole series. I know her name is Jadis, but the only thing we're looking at is the 2005 movie with Tilda Swinton as the White Witch and Liam Neeson as Lion Jesus. Any information we get from other sources will not be considered, but don't worry, this one movie is plenty. So, grab your winter coats and boots, because it's about to get cold. We're opening the wardrobe and stepping into the domain of the White Witch.
Don't waste my time with flattery.
Jadis actually gets very little screen time in this movie, considering, which is, I guess, fair enough. It's supposed to be about the Pevensies. Her name is only mentioned once in passing during the 2005 movie, and her history is glazed over. She's held Narnia in a 100-year winter with no warmth, no thaw, and definitely no Christmas. Not cool, Jadis. She's declared herself queen, and anyone that dissents ends up as a lawn ornament. Her power seems to be tied to the arrival of the Pevensies somehow. They show up and the thaw begins. Father Christmas finally arrives. With weapons. Are we sure this isn't America? Jadis takes note, stumbles into Edmund, poor thing. Jadis, I mean. And concocts a plan to stop the return of Aslan and the ensuing end of her reign. Fortunately, the objectively worst Pevensey is malleable and sells out his family and friends.
For sweeties.
Say what you will, but she's brutally efficient when it comes to snack manipulation. When Edmund fails, because of course he does, to deliver his siblings to the queen, she decides to use him as a pawn for the upcoming battle. According to Narnia law, all traitors, including Edmund, belong to her, so even when Aslan and company come to rescue him, Jadis still has a legal claim. Apparently the world might literally end if she doesn't get her way. So, Lion Jesus offers himself in Edmund's place to die a traitor's death. Jadis wins, and all is laid to ice and snow. Huh? Oh, apparently I'm being told that is not what happens. He apparently gets back up a few hours after being stabbed on the stone table because he has an Uno reverse card, and he knows an even secreter magic than Jadis does. Meanwhile, Jadis, who is being a badass in combat, killing everyone who doesn't have a last name, suddenly, has to deal with Edmund, who now has protagonist power and shatters her wand. Well, he broke it, so he buys it, and Jadis happily lets him keep the wand in his chest. She proceeds to stalemate Peter for a little bit until the contract breaker appears and eats her face. An ignoble ending for such a noble witch. Seriously though, he does eat her face. Look at the movie. Her body is still there. It's limp in the background. Ugh. Anyway, her story was a bit convoluted and largely left to your imagination in the movie, so let's see if her power set is more defined. Spoiler, it's not. The 2005 movie doesn't give us a lot of lore for Jadis beyond 100-Year Winter, Evil Queen, and hates Aslan. Likewise, we get just as little for her powers. The White Witch was meant by C.S. Lewis to be evil incarnate. For every Aslan is Jesus moment, there's a complimentary Jadis is Satan moment. That's intentional. Lewis used a convention we call soft magic. It means the powers someone has aren't spelled out. No stat blocks, no power listings, no hard rules. Think Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings movies, right? He's magic because the story needs him to be. I mean, can you quickly recall any specific spell he uses? He talked to a moth, right? Well, Lewis and Tolkien were editing buddies, so Jadis, it's the same thing. Whatever the plot needs, she does. So let's piece together what the movie shows us, both explicit and implied. First up, we need to focus on that wand and how you can petrify with it. In a nutshell, one tap and you're a new garden decoration. Foxes, centaurs, griffins, tumnuses. Is it tumnusai? They all turn to stone with a single tap. It looks like Aslan's breath is the only cure, which, does that mean his breath is really nice or really bad? Either way, Edmund managed to shatter it with his blooming protagonist power, leaving Jadis no choice but to turn it into a shiv and end our collective suffering. The point is, after that, she doesn't utilize any magic, which makes me wonder if the wand was actually the source of her power. Next, we have conjuration of food and drink. With a single drop atop the snow, any food or drink she wishes can be conjured. When Edmund requests Turkish delights, Jadis delivers without even questioning what they are, which could either mean that Turkish delights exist in Narnia, or she simply doesn't need to know what they are. Given that her dwarf companion ate one without question, I'd venture to say that Narnia has seen a Turkish delight or two before Edmund showed up. Then we have the firewall in that final battle laid down by a phoenix to divide her forces. Jadis marches straight through it. I'm assuming it's a passive buff, but either way, expecting fire to hold back the Queen of Ice was naive at best. Lastly, let's not forget the 100-Year Winter. How she did this, what the rules are, or even why she did, are left open to interpretation by the movie, but it is heavily implied it has something to do with deep magic, meaning we might be able to ignore this one if she enters Paladin territory. This might just be a Narnia exclusive power. Much like Edward Cullen being implied to have gravity-bending abilities by the movie Twilight, there are certain powers that kind of have to be assumed if Jadis is to logically exist. Now, Jadis has ruled Narnia for 100 years as queen, though it's implied she's been around much longer. Tilda Swinton is looking good for, what, at least 120? Look at how well she wields twin swords on the battlefield. Now, let's tack on some cold resistance to that longevity. That's a no-brainer, because, I mean, sure, she's got some nice robes, but that woman is sitting on a literal ice throne. She better be immune. Speaking of that throne, that design, along with her castle itself, and don't forget that ice crown, that clearly shows that she had an Elsa era. So let's tack on some cold manipulation as well. Oh, finally, the existence of that food juice implies that she's a potion maker. That thing's tiny. I'm assuming she hasn't been hoarding it for 100 years just to waste 2 drops on Edmund. It's clearly tied to cold, which is her signature, converting snow into food and drink. Since I don't see her dwarf friend there tinkering with a cauldron, it seems simplest to assume she's brewing her own stock. Well, with those out of the way, let's take a look at how we counter those abilities. And yes, a thick coat is part of it. My main job in the Paladin Order is taking calls from paladins in the field and giving them advice on how to counter threats. No matter how much information I give them about their particular brand of death that night, they pretty much always want things boiled down to a single metric, the threat level. This is a number from 1 to 10, though realistically we only go to 6. Everything beyond that is more hypothetical threats. Stuff that wouldn't matter because the Order isn't equipped to fight anything like that. Now, where does Jadis lie? Well, that's the problem. The principal issue I'm facing is that, well, it's hard to tell where her powers are. I mean, they're kind of contingent on her being in Narnia, I think, and I'm not sure what would transfer from her world to ours. From what the movie says, the entire everlasting winter is part of Narnia's deep magic, so can she do that here? What happens to Jadis if she leaves Narnia? One more aside before anyone drops into the comment section. I know she came from Charn. I know she spoke the deplorable word and became queen by default. I know she slept for 1,000 years until children awoke her and she ended up in London, trying to take over the world with a chunk of metal. I know she grew the first lamppost by accident. I know she was the first evil in Narnia. None of that is in the movie. In any case, I'm going to assume that Narnia-affecting powers are Narnia-locked. Even so, what do we have to deal with? Winter. I've lived in New Jersey. It's colder and more dangerous. The paladins can wear coats. Next, petrification. Ooh, here we go. Now this is the actual threat. The movie makes it clear that this is touch-based. I haven't seen anything that petrifies someone in a long time, though. It's pretty rare in our world. Now, I've heard that there are some witches who do something similar, essentially petrification, more like a full-body rigor mortis kind of thing, but true stone. I'd have to dive deep into the archives to find something like that. So, my initial recommendation, don't get touched. Though, with petrification, I do have to wonder what the rules are. Clearly, clothing counts. I mean, we can see Tumnus's scarf was petrified, but what about weapons and armor? She petrifies a centaur in mid-strike, complete with armor and sword, so what if you use a shield? Could you ditch it? And if it counts anything you're wearing or holding, what if you were braced behind, like, say, a table, right? What if you were on a rug? Could she petrify the rug that you're on and then that would count toward you? Like, it's really just unclear. I guess the solution is what it usually is. Use a gun. Do not let her get close. And break that wand ASAP. I'm not familiar with a field cure for petrification, but I don't know, maybe blue gel? That stuff works on everything else. Back to her list, I just don't see a lot more that she can do that isn't just her being a menace. She has this potential in Narnia to be extremely dangerous, but it quickly just becomes a nuisance on Earth. Her combat skills are admirable until she meets with a protagonist. Her magic is impressive, but highly situational and not very useful in combat. Within her realm, her threat level is upwards of 3. If I'm generous and assign her the implied powers too, here, against paladins, she's respectable but undeniable. Threat level 1. Single parish dispatch. Remain at distance. Utilize firearms or capture technology to take down the target from a distance. Separate target from wand. Destroy or take into custody and utilize blue gel to neutralize. Cold weather gear and anti-heretic tactics suggested. Alright, let's put a bow on this with her witch type, shall we? For those who don't remember, we have 3 kinds of witches. Hellborn are the ones that make deals with demons, selling their souls for power. Covenant witches are those that gain their powers from like a book or an artifact, and they lose their soul bit by bit with every use. Then we've got pure witches. They take their power from nature, or something similar for the cases of this show. No threat to their soul. Now, it's unclear from the movie where Jadis gets her power. There's no obvious source, no deal she's made that's been mentioned, but we do see that she uses a wand quite frequently throughout most of the movie. And when she loses that wand to the objectively worst Pevensey, she discards it and doesn't do magic at all from that point forward. I think that's enough evidence to tie her powers to the wand. Well, at least that's the encouragement I'd give the responding paladins. She's a Covenant witch. Well, that's it. 2025 come and gone. From the Wicked Witch of the West all the way to Jadis the White Witch. I hope you guys had fun, because I certainly did. And what's waiting for us next month? If you've been with us since Season 1, you know it's time for End of the Year Roundup. Season 1, for vampires, I brought on some vampire VTubers to do tier lists of all of our vampires for the year. Last year, for demons, I brought on some amazing demon VTubers to present the Demon Awards, with Mason Crystal. And this year, for witches, I have 3 amazing witchy VTubers ready to present our witch trial. Yes, each and every witch we've seen this year will be put to the flame to see who is truly worthy of the title Witch of the Year. Best of all, you get to weigh in with your opinion. You can find a link to the Discord as well as a direct voting link down in the description. Make sure you check it out. So, what'd you think of Jadis? With winter settling in, it seemed like the most appropriate witch to end us with. Did I do okay? How did you like our year of witches overall? And of course, what are we looking at next year? We've done vampires, demons, and now witches. Werewolves seem like the obvious next step, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe we could do hunters? I know there's one fan out there that is really pushing for fish people for some reason. Heck, we could even do ghosts. Well, let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts on the matter. In any case, thanks so much. I know it's been a long year, but you guys stuck with us, and I really appreciate it. It's been a blast going over these monsters and demons with all of you guys. I can't wait for next month's special, but until then, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's hiding out there. Good, but not worth betraying my own family. Maybe Edmund.